Ba bum bum ba bum bum. 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 I saw the spit flying from my mouth though. I hope it didn't.
That's when you know it's working. That's. Hi guys, welcome to CB&J.
Howdy.
Now, Battlefield 1 is coming out pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
And we thought we'd take the time to reflect back on some amazing memories with all of the other Battlefield games. Except for 2142 because that was rubbish.
It's a big call.
Never
really played it. It looked cool. I saw giant robots.
There was giant robots.
That's usually a good thing.
And there was also giant disappointment.
Ooh, shots fired.
In my opinion. I remember we used to come around to my house. We had a nice 19-inch CRT screen set up, and we cracked out Battlefield 1942.
Oh my god. Still probably my favorite of the whole series. Like,
absolutely awesome.
The breadth of it was insane. Like, I remember, I think one of my favorite bits was when you started, I think it was Wake Island.
Yes.
And you started on one of the, like, battleships, and you could drive it. And I was like, oh my god. I'm in control of this thing, so it's going to be a bad time for everyone. And it was.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But when I went back to look at it recently, I loaded up my old computer and opened it, and it hasn't aged very well.
Yeah.
Unlike Battlefield Vietnam, which I think is still playable.
Oh, really?
Battlefield Vietnam was actually probably one of my favorites, and probably still is one of my favorites. Man, I remember how we got that.
Oh, yeah.
Pizza Hut
Special deal, yep.
So we got Pizza Huts. I think it was 2 large pizzas, 24 Australian dollars, and you got a free copy of Battlefield Vietnam. And I think that day, my 21-inch CRT screen had arrived.
I remember that. That thing was a big.
That was the biggest screen in town. Still 4:3, not widescreen, which is perfect because Battlefield Vietnam didn't know what widescreen was. We played that for ever.
A very long time. I remember some really good times about that game. Caltrops.
Yep.
Jumping in the back of a helicopter without actually boarding it and falling out. Dropping caltrops from the back of it. Some really great times with that game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, jumping into the back of the transport helicopter without actually using the hotkey and just hoping you would stay inside it, and then taking off and getting thrown out the back. Oh, it was such a good game.
It was amazing.
I think my favorite thing was getting on those like Fagios or whatever they are, those little scooters.
Oh yeah.
Jumping on the back and just
doesn't someone sit on the back with a gun and it's like you on the front with your little like scooter mobile.
And you were like, this is awesome. And you'd die every time. Like you'd always die. But it was really fun because you could go a bit quicker for a bit.
Yeah. And you have someone on the back with like a machine gun and you're like, don't worry man, we're gonna like tear people apart with this bad boy.
This is gonna be great. Like we're gonna save the team. The embarrassment of us playing because we'll be dead. Oh, that was so good. Then from there, where did we go?
Battlefield 2.
Now, what did you think? I thought Battlefield 2 was actually...
I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was... I remember the first time I got it, and this was back when computers still took quite a while to load things, and you had that intro song, and they had the intro video, and it would zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and all this cool stuff was happening.
From space and stuff like that.
And then there was like video stuff in the background in the menu scenes and all that sort of stuff. It was cool.
It was amazing.
It was a cool game. What's your favorite memory from Battlefield 2?
Battlefield 2. I can remember hanging around a base waiting for a tank to spawn, grabbing it, and then accidentally running over like 12 of my teammates on the way. Accidentally, like, oh gee, this thing's really big.
Oh geez, oh it's a bit different than my car.
Yeah. Treads are wide. Far out.
Sorry guys, it's my first time. Just working it out. I think I liked the realism of all of those games. Like you couldn't just jump in and fire randomly at people. Like you had to actually try, and you had to actually have some tactics to you, and like you would do so much better if you were working as a team, and if you were working by yourself trying to go solo, like you had some success if you were really good, which wasn't me. But yeah, like you get on and like back, like we didn't do voice chats, we just did 4 computers in the same room.
Literally yell at
on
each other.
makeshift tables and stuff. And I'm like, this way, damn it! Barry, what are you doing?
And I'm like, huh? Like swimming around in the lake somewhere. And then I think, wasn't your brother playing in another room?
Yep.
I would have to yell down the hallway at him. Like,
Ash, we're coming down! It's happening!
it's like, what? He's got like 50 kills and we're like just running around a base.
Oh, because he's so much better than us at these games.
Embarrassingly so.
Yeah, but that was great. Like,
Yeah.
I played the Battlefield 1942 to Vietnam to 2, like...
Each one's been a big jump,
It was
a big evolution.
a big jump, and it was a good jump, but you still felt comfortable.
Yeah, exactly right. It wasn't like a foreign. I remember going from like Vietnam to 2. That was a pretty big jump because they changed the physics and stuff like that. Like, Vietnam was very similar to 1942 in the way it played.
That's true.
But like I said, it still felt natural. They still kept the balance and stuff like that right. And then from there, Battlefield 3, was that the next one? Did they have any?
Well, that's because you're skipping, and rightly so, Battlefield 2142.
Bad boy.
But I didn't mind it. It just felt really different because it was really different.
Which isn't always a bad thing. Like,
No, not at all. I mean-
branching off something different isn't too shabby. But I guess going from like small jump to like massive jump into the future, it sort of like didn't line up properly.
Well, I think there's been very few games that have done that well. Like Far Cry Primal has just come out. I've just started playing that.
Okay.
And that's cool.
Is it?
Yeah, it stands alone by its own right. But you don't feel like there's any other Far Cry-ness getting in the way of it. Like, it does feel like a different game, and it still stands alone pretty well.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I've been enjoying it so far. But
Awesome.
Battlefield 2142 felt to me, anyways, like Battlefield 2 with different skins and a few different objectives. Like, it was cool,
Yeah.
but I don't know, like, no one else was getting on board with it. I didn't really get on board with it, and then it sort of fizzled away fairly quickly.
Yeah, there wasn't much hype about it.
Yeah.
I remember I got excited because they were giant walking robots,
Yeah, it was
which I'm
cool.
always a fan of. And the other thing was Titan mode, I think, because this is the time where I think I spoke about it in one of the earlier episodes, where I was used to not being able to do stuff. I remember 1942 having that ship was like it was a massive deal, being able to get into the battleship. But I remember there was Titan mode or something like that in 2142. And they're like massive ships in the air, and you had to like capture all the missile silos and bring it down.
That's right.
And I was
you could jump up and go in and like shoot the cores and stuff.
Yeah, and I thought that was amazing. Like, it wasn't just like a big thing in the sky. It was all, you can interact with the whole thing.
That was the one mode that I really enjoyed because it wasn't just Battlefield with robots.
Yeah,
That was
exactly
actually like, it felt like a completely different game. That was cool.
Yeah.
No one played again.
Yeah.
Just for that. If I can find like the one other person that's probably still playing it. So what was the next game?
I think it was Battlefield Bad Company.
That's right, the spin-off series.
Yeah.
You've played those. I don't think I really played those. I remember, didn't we rent this on Xbox?
No, that was another one.
Oh, what was that one?
Shit, that was Battlefield 2 for console. That was a completely different.
And it was
like
single
hot
player.
swapping and
And it was
stuff.
single player, and you could jump in. That was kind of cool.
I was like, I remember playing it on the PC. I think we were at Sidus, the internet cafe,
Yeah.
playing Battlefield 2, and then, like, I didn't have it at home or whatever, and then went to Blockbuster probably back then. Yeah. And saw Battlefield 2 for Xbox, and I had an Xbox. I'm like, oh my god, my dreams have come true.
And you brought this around. I remember, and you never bought it. You just
That's
rented
right.
it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then we're like, oh, Battlefield 2, this is going to be amazing. And it was just not it.
It was something else.
It was, and I remember that you could look at another soldier or a tank or something and press Y, I think, and it would swap you into them.
It was cool, but it was
not
a
Battlefield.
really different game.
Yeah.
All right, so after that,
Yeah.
Then
was
Bad Company.
Yeah.
Bad Company.
I never played the first one because it wasn't on PC.
I never played the first one.
Yeah.
I think I only ever heard about the second one from you, but I never played it,
Okay.
if I'm being honest. I think I own it, but I never played it. I never played it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I live with that every day.
Yeah.
So I didn't play that one, but I did play Battlefield Bad Company 2. So again, it's a completely different beast.
So what was it like? What was the? It was more campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. It was like, I feel like the combat was more loose, if that makes any sense.
Like less precise, less tactical.
A bit more run and gun, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. That sort of makes sense. More Call of Duty-esque.
Yeah, pretty. It felt very Call of Duty from what I remember.
All right.
Not in a bad way, but then when Battlefield 3 rolled around, I was like, oh, this is what I've been longing for. Tickets and stuff like that each side. Helicopters and stuff like that. The Battlefield Bad Company 2 had helicopters and stuff, but it didn't have the same feel to it. Like, it was almost a bit more arcadey than what I can remember.
Alright, so Battlefield 3,
Oh man,
that was awesome.
had some fantastic times in that game.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the sort of skill up system and stuff like that. How
Yeah.
like you could drive around the tank, and if you like kill enough bad guys, then you get more tank features, and then you could sort of work towards different tactics. So it sort of felt like there was something for you to do every time you came in, which was
Like there's
kind
a
of cool.
goal to progress to.
Yeah, and
not
like you're always
just
trying to
go
get
and kill
better. And like I know that we talk about this, and if you're watching and you haven't played Battlefield 3 before, you're sort of going, well, all games do that now.
people. Yeah.
But that was really one of the first games that had, I mean, obviously Call of Duty did the rank system, but this is one of the first games that had, you would be in a certain vehicle and you would class up in that vehicle, and you would class up in that vehicle, and helicopters and like the guns you were using and that sort of stuff. I liked it, that was cool.
It rewards you for trying different things, and that's a big thing in games. That, like, I never really realized until, kind of recently that having reward systems that actually reward you for doing different things is like, it's awesome, because it forces you out of your comfort zone and makes you want to try and be good at everything rather than just like specializing in like a sniper and sticking with that. You can do it if you want to, but you won't be able to unlock everything doing that.
That's a good point, actually. So then there was Battlefield 4,
Yeah.
which I never really played, and better graphics from what I hear.
Yeah. Wow.
But not. I don't know. It didn't seem like. I never played it, so correct us if we're wrong. But it didn't seem like a massive jump from the third to the fourth one.
Well, I played the demo, and it was like like big buildings or something like that. I remember seeing that one of the buildings can be destroyed halfway through a match, and I was
That's
like,
cool.
"Oh, that sounds cool." And
That's
I played
different.
it, and I was like, it didn't differentiate itself enough from the last one. Like,
Right.
1 to 2, huge. 2 to 3, massive. 3 to 4, like.
Well, that's the thing. Like 1942 to Vietnam to 2 to 3.
just huge jumps every single one.
Massive jumps.
Well, even like 1942 to Vietnam, engine-wise, it was very similar, but the
they
era, the vehicles, everything was
fixed
different.
so many things. Like the textures looked better. You could do more with the guns. I felt like it was more customizable.
Yeah.
It was better. And the second one was amazing. Like they added just so much. And then the third one, again, they just took it further. They added in a lot of leveling stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think the fourth one, they sort of just ran with the successors from the third. Like I remember hearing things like, the sniper bullet drop was like really accurate from like wind gauging and distance gauging and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, which was more over 3 to 4 and stuff like that. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like those mechanics are really important to a game that purports to be more realistic than Call of Duty. And a lot of people that play Battlefield play it because of those mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Very cool. But I just don't feel like for the average gamer looking at it that it really sold itself as a different sort of package.
Exactly right. Like, you think they could have just patched that into Battlefield 3?
Yeah.
Just didn't up like Battlefield 3 Redux or something like that, better textures, more guns, stuff like that. It wasn't really, and like that whole game had another like package of DLC that you could buy with it as well. So it was like, is it really? And I didn't find that it was worth it to buy. I was happy with Battlefield 3, stuck with it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty glad I did. So I don't feel like I missed out on anything really.
All right. And so what comes after Battlefield 4? Battlefield 1. Of course.
Obviously.
Like clearly.
Following the Xbox route.
Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah.
I get to fill that gap because I guess they didn't do a Battlefield 1.
That's very true.
But this one, we watched the trailer and
it looks insane.
it looks really cool.
It looks absolutely insane. So it's set in Battlefield 1 is set in World War One. So that's the setting. So back then, from what I remember, like,
Were you in World War 1?
oh yeah, back in the day, I'm actually like,
Back in Nam.
Jesus, what war were you fighting?
Not World War 1.
Oh, good. Luckily. That'd be awkward. You're like fighting World War One in Vietnam when there's no war on. Get down! Everyone's like, okay, but why?
I don't understand what's going on.
He seems like a friendly fella. Listen to what he says.
He's got a smile on his face, that's all that matters.
Smile on his face.
And a gun in his hand. No, so tell me more about Battlefield 1. So, set in World War 1.
Yeah.
That trailer was,
Pretty
Talk
wild.
us through it, talk us through it.
So, from the looks of it, there's horses. There are horses. Sorry, it's still on that one. Biplanes, sick.
You can buy planes in the game.
Absolutely, you can buy biplanes. Buy one.
Does that mean if I like shoot down a plane, it's like, bye-bye plane? Is that what you mean?
Yes. There he is. Thanks, me. Battleships. I'm so excited for that. They're bringing it back.
I know, that was a really cool mechanic.
Because you could just I remember Battlefield 1942, you could just sort of like circle the island and bombard it. And there were big cannons, like coastal defenses. I forgot about that.
That's right. There's like massive artillery batteries, and you could, And
you have to get planes to bomb them to make sure
do
the
you
ship's
think
going to
in
survive.
this one that they're going to allow you to drive the whole ship again?
Well, I hope so. It said battleships. That's what I don't...
You would think, yeah.
Yeah, I really, really hope so. And I hope it gives you full control over it, not just like...
And like helicarriers and like being able to like deploy a whole army sort of thing like off that system. That'd be really cool.
You take control of that, like that resource pretty much, which is, I really hope that's what they do. And another really exciting thing is tanks. So like in World War I, from what I remember, tanks, they were the first tanks that were ever created. And they were pretty much just big metal boxes with some like cannons attached and dudes with machine guns inside. I remember reading about some battles in Europe somewhere, and there were 2 tanks, like the first like tank battle. Might not have been the first, I don't know. But they sort of...
The very first, yeah.
They're like, oh, what's this?
What's going on here? Interesting that we both brought a tank to this battle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's interesting.
Oh my god, I can't believe what they brought to the battle.
Oh my god,
We bought.
I'm so embarrassed. You got the tank as
my
well.
God.
Oh jeez.
I want to go home.
Which is essentially what they had to do, actually, based on what you were explaining.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so like Germany. So yeah, from what I remember, that they were shooting their cannons at each other, and they both just immobilized each other.
Right.
And they're both just sitting there, just shooting machine guns at each other, but the machine guns wouldn't penetrate the armor. So I'm pretty sure they just had to like get out and leave.
So do you think this one will incorporate those sorts of mechanics, like if you disable the tank treads or something like that, or the engine, that it'll get immobilized and then they can only use the turret if they want to? Or do you reckon they're just going to do that the whole thing gets destroyed? What would you like to see?
I would love to see that. I would love to see like disabling tanks and stuff like that. But that sounds like more of like a World of Tanks sort of a deal.
Well,
but like not Battlefield sort of. It's got that edge of.
I feel like it would fit in.
I think it would fit in too. I just hope that they see it that way after Battlefield 4 and stuff. It feels like they're sort of streamlining it. They're sort of like getting a bit Call of Duty with it. So I hope that they take a step back and give you that sort of like realism. You know, you have to make sure that your sides are protected and stuff like that. Because if you get a tread, you're pretty much dead in the water.
Well, this is the thing, and tanks are obviously more vulnerable from the rear as well. So, like all those sort of mechanics, I'm sure that that's going to be incorporated.
I really hope so.
Well, I think it had been previously.
Yeah?
I think even in Vietnam, well, at least it seemed like you want to sort of front face towards the enemy. Even not just the barrel, but even the actual tank itself to sort of get less damage on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Sort of thing. Well, I guess we'll find out in October. We'll get it. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think we'll come back and we'll review it properly and have a good chat about it once it's come out.
Yep.
And we'll see if some of these things that we wanted to see in the game are actually there. So looking forward to it. I think this will get me back into Battlefield. I really love the game. We've had so many like awesome memories playing Vietnam and 1942. So yeah, this is going to be good. I'm very excited. I just hope they do it justice. I hope they sort of bring it back to like 1942 standards, where it was just an amazing experience, rather than just like, oh, it's another Battlefield game. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not like oh, battleships, sweet, that's going to be awesome. DLC required. Oh, jeez. I think I'm just going to shoot this AK-47. DLC required. Yeah. Bullets, extra $1.99. Yeah, exactly. Visit the cash shop. Oh, gee. Premium bullets. Premium bullets. These bullets have different skins. Yeah, 50% more damage if you pay $5.99 a month. I really hope that's not the case. That shouldn't be. But yeah, so we'll check back in, we'll have a look at it, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Catch ya.